This is my Novo Serus J, and it is honestly the best guitar I've ever played. Not only is this guitar insanely comfortable, but it has one of the smoothest feeling neck, and the fretwork is absolutely spectacular. But those aren't the reasons that make this the best guitar that I've ever played. So let's talk about it. Over the last few years, I've purchased several high-end guitars. I've had 3 different Suhrs, a few American-made PRSs, I've got a Jennings Voyager, my Fender Elite Stratocaster, and it wasn't until a few months ago that my wife purchased my Novo for me as a graduation present. And if you've been watching the channel for a while, you will know that I'm a huge snob when it comes to the way a neck feels. And this is typically something that will make or break whether or not I love or keep an instrument. And with the Novo, it has a standard C-shaped neck, a 9.5 to 14-inch compound radius, which are things I typically enjoy, but the icing on the cake for me is going to be the impeccable relic job. And I didn't even realize I loved this until the other day when it dawned on me that I grab my Novo more than any other guitar. And I think it's because a lot of those other guitars have more of a new feeling to them, where the Novo feels familiar and comfortable, and it feels like that instrument that I've owned for years, even though I've only owned it for a few months. I think the only thing I would want to change about this Novo and the neck would be having more rolled fret edges to complement that relic feeling. But that's not the only thing that has made this guitar the best guitar I've ever played. There's gonna be 2 other things that make this the best guitar I've ever played. And the first is going to be the ergonomics and the overall shape of the body. Of course, the Serus J is going to have that huge sweeping offset design, but it's going to have even larger upper and lower bouts. Here's a quick example of 3 of my offsets compared side by side. And in this case, we've got my Jennings Voyager, we've got my Warmoth Jazzmaster, which is going to be similar to a Fender Jazzmaster in terms of size. And then of course we have my Novo, which is going to be the largest of all of them, but surprisingly, it's actually the lightest. And in this case, it only weighs 6 pounds and 15 ounces. And having this ergonomic body not only means that it's more comfortable to play sitting down, but it also means that I'm going to be able to get higher up on the fretboard and be able to have a little bit of extra room, even with large hands. And in this case, taking those solos or bends up high on the neck, there's still plenty of room even for my pinky in comparison to more traditional guitars. So far, we have talked about the neck, the body and the overall ergonomics. And lastly, I want to talk about the brilliance of the Mastery trem system. And if you're not familiar with Mastery and their trem and bridge systems, they are one of the best out there that you can get for Jazzmaster style bodies. And part of this can be contributed to Mastery and in their bridge systems, allowing the strings to sit deeper within the groove. In this case, that just means that you can really dig into those strings, or you can play nice and soft, and your guitar is never going to have those tuning instability issues that you can get with other offset style bridges. One other big benefit to this style of bridge is it's going to work really well with a compound radius, and you're going to be able to get the action really low. And in the case of my Novo, it's going to create a playing experience that just feels effortless. And if you've ever played with other style trems before, sometimes you can feel like the bridge is biting you a little bit when you dig in with your pick. And in this case, I don't feel any of that with this Mastery system, and the overall playability and the setup is fantastic. Lastly, if you have not seen my in-depth review on my Novo Serus J, you can check that out right here.